Welcome to Bellwether's Enterprise Solution, also known as ePMX. Today I'm going to show you how we can go through a workflow for your purchasing, capture inventory, receiving. We're going to start out here logging into our page here. Now, the system is permission-based, so whatever you give your users permission to, those tabs will appear here on the left. And everyone does have a dashboard, which they can configure to what they want to see when they log in. So let's begin here with requisitions. When I log in, I can automatically default to a corp. Now you can have multi-corps where one can't see the other, and then give certain access to individuals, which will then have a drop-down list here. The system automatically gives it a requisition number. We'll always want to put in a ship to code, and now we can begin putting the requisition together. Your users can suggest a vendor. This list of vendors would be yours that we import. It'll automatically capture the requisition date, the requisitioner, and they can put in a delivery date. As well as over here on the right, we have 3 fields that you could utilize for additional information. Now these can be done up top here for the entire requisition, or you can do the different coding by line. Let's put our first line item on here by ad hoc. So if I just wanted to put an item on that I want to request, put in the quantity, unit of measure, these will be pre-populated to what you are using. And then if I do know the price, put the price in. Or I can actually use the internal catalog. Now this would be a catalog that we start for you, putting all items and services in that you currently order. And you can search by description, commodity code, vendor, keyword, or we can actually set up even little mini catalogs for you as well. Let's do a keyword here. And we'll do a quick search. Now this is going to bring me up everything in the catalog with that keyword. It'll already have the material description, the item code, the quantity you frequently order in, and if you did put pricing in, it'll have that as well. All you need to do is highlight the items, and you can highlight multiple items here and hit OK. And it'll bring that information over here into your line item, and you just fill out the quantity. Once you're finished with your line items, you can also put any instructions that could copy onto the PO or keep them internally. And you can attach anything and then just review it before you save it and send it on for approval. So we're going to send that on, and now that requisition is complete, and the approvers are getting notification. Another way to put a requisition together if you shop online a lot is coming in here to add, put your ship to code in, and over in your vendor field, you'll pick your online vendor. Now, we actually have connection with over 70 online vendors. Let's use Amazon as an example. By choosing Amazon, it gives me a punch-out icon here, which then pushes me out to my account on that vendor's website. And then I'll shop as I normally do, putting items into the cart. Once I'm finished putting all the items in, I have my cart subtotal here. I submit these items for approval. And what it does is it pulls all the items that are listed in the cart over to Bellwether, creating your line items for you. And then you can put in your additional coding here. Again, you'll have requisition instructions, attachments, and then just review it before you send it on for approval. We'll just save that, send it on. Now, we also do offer stock requisitions. If you want your folks, if you're going to be doing inventory, they can fill out a stock requisition, get that approved, and those items could be waiting for them to pick up at inventory. So let's log out and come back in as a power user so you can see the difference here. You'll notice I now have access to all the tabs. Now, what's nice about the solution is you pick and choose your workflow, meaning you choose which modules you want to use, and you can always add other ones later. So let's move on to our requisition approvals. So anyone that is an approver will get a notification. This notification will contain each line item and any of the coding that you put in. From your email, you can auto-reject, and you're finished with it. Auto-approve. It can move on to the next level if needed. Or if you decide you want to, maybe select line 2 here and decline that, but let line 1 go through, you would click on approve and then log into your requisition approval screen. Now within this screen, you do have a search criteria up top where you could just do a quick search here. This would be all your pending requisitions. So from this screen, you can review budget information, print the requisition, see instruction, review approvers on this and the request itself, and you can also reject lines. Now, when you do, you'll have to put a note in, which will go back to the requester, letting them know why it was rejected. You can also do an auto approve here and just approve everything, or highlight the ones that you want to approve. And then again, the system will push that on to the next level if needed. Now, after our requisitions have been completed and approved, now we can flip them over to a purchase order. So whoever's going to be doing your purchase orders would come into purchase orders. They'd do a PO from a requisition. Again, either search criteria up top or search here. And all of the requisitions on this screen have already gone through the approval process. So now it's time to create the PO. What I'll do is highlight the line items that I want to put on the PO. Now, if I do have multiple requests for the same vendor, I could put those all on one or do them separate. So we're going to highlight the lines, create a standard PO. We're going to verify the vendor and the delivery date here. And at this point, you can put any instructions, anything internal. Maybe there's an attachment you want to put on it now, and then review that before it goes out to the vendor. So we're going to save this and we're going to submit an email, or you could just save them if they don't need to go out. Your contact for your vendor will already be in the system, but you will have the ability to send it up to 3 other individuals and just email that out. Now, in the case of the online one for Amazon, I'm going to highlight that and any other ones that I want to put on that, and I'm going to create the punch-out PO. Again, they're the same screens, so you have the ability for instructions, attachments, and review it before you actually place the order. So I'm going to save this, and now I'm going to submit and push out. By doing so, you actually place the order with that online vendor, and you will get your confirmation. Now, if you want to bypass doing requisitions, you could start at the PO level as well. That's up to you by coming into the standard PO, choosing your vendor and your ship to code, and then you would be choosing your items either from the catalog like we did previously, or you could do them ad hoc. So we'll just do a quick search here again, and we'll put that computer on here, bring it over, and then you still have your coding. If you're going to be doing any GL codes, maybe projects or something like that, or any job codes, and then you'll add it after putting in your quantities. So the system does highlight anything that you do forget. And then, again, you can put any instructions, save this, and either save it or send it out to the vendor. So again, you can start it at any level, whether it be requisitions or start them at the POs. Now, after you have your POs out, we want to track all the receiving. So when your items come in, you're going to come into material receipts and pull it up by the PO number. And this is going to list everything that's on your PO or anything that's still outstanding. So you're going to put in your receipt date up top here. Now, you could put a packing slip number in. You can attach any documents, or maybe if you saved a copy of the packing slip. And now what we want to do is make sure we put in here the quantities that we received. Now, you can do partial or full. So if I put in 3 here, that's going to change this amount right here. So the next time when I get the remainder of the shipment, when I pull this up, I'm only going to see that line that says 2 on it. And then you'll just continue filling the rest of these out so that you have the information that you need on here. Now, if you are going to be tracking inventory as well, you'll be doing that from this screen when you receive items. So whatever you log in for your quantities, if any one of these items are part of your inventory file, it's going to automatically update your inventory stock numbers as well. And then we'll save that. And then once you're saved, everything is updated. It logs in what was received, who received it. If you're tracking inventory, it'll go into your inventory as well. So let's move to invoice and just close out the process before looking at inventory. So when you get your invoices in, you're going to have the ability to come in here and do a 3-way match, either by pulling it up by PO number or receipt number, packing slip. So let's pull this one up. Now you can put an invoice number in and a date as well here. You can also attach a copy of the invoices in here, but this will show what should be on your invoice, and this is what you would owe the vendor. Now, if you do need to put additional lines in for tax or freight that wasn't originally on the PO, you can do so here. And then once you're finished with that, you're going to save it and pull your next one up. Now, depending on your accounting system, you could do an invoice bridge. So after matching these, you could push that invoice data over into your accounting system. We do integrate directly with QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop, as well as Intact Sage. And then for others, we do have an API that can push the information over. So basically, you would come in here, process invoices, and run it, and it would push the data over. So let's take a look at our inventory section here. So with inventory, you can take things out right now a couple different ways: through the inventory transaction by choosing your warehouse, and then your transaction type, whether you're issuing out, making an adjustment, receipt, return to vendor, return to warehouse. So let's pick an item that we're going to take out, and you always want to put a quantity in. Now, these two fields here can be used for where you're saying that computer is going if you want to track that. So this could be renamed to whatever you want, but it could go to a department, a person, or maybe a specific job. And then once you say that, it's going to update your inventory numbers. Now, for those of you that take numerous items out of inventory at the same time, maybe it's to build a certain product or inventory for surgeries, things like that, we could build kit components for you. So again, you would choose your warehouse, issue it out over here, and then select your kit. Always say how many kits you're going to take out. Now again, I could code this however I want and then add it to the list. You'll notice it's one line, but when I open this display kit up, it's actually taking 3 items out at the same time and updating my inventory numbers. You can also do warehouse transfers. So I could take items from one area and push them to another simply by listing them here and then saving them. And what it'll do is minus your items and your cost from the first inventory and add it to the other. And at any point, you can see an inventory status by coming in here and choosing your warehouse. Maybe you want to look up an item. It'll let you know here what you have on hand, what you've already allocated, and most importantly, what you have on order. This way you don't over or under order things. Now, with inventory, we can set minimum and maximum levels so that if you do meet that minimum number, it will automatically alert you that you have to reorder, restock that item. Now, for those of you that have maybe assets, we could tag your items as assets. And then when you actually receive them, and you'll come in here and put your PO number in, just like we did before. If any of these are assets, when you log them in, immediately afterwards, it's going to bring you to an asset entry screen. And this is where you can put some additional information, whether it be a serial number, equipment type. Most importantly, where's your asset located? Just some additional information that you can keep on assets. We also can keep some warranty information for you, as well as if you want to track some service history here. Now, we also do have a contracts file. You could always keep your contracts in. It lets you put in the vendor, name, start date, expiration date, the legal agreement. But most importantly, you can also set this to alert you specific days before that contract is going to expire so that you can start negotiations. And also, too, if there's any linked POs to that contract, it will also track it in here. And our next tab would be quotations. So you have the ability to request quotes from vendors. Now, you could either do a requisition first and convert that to a quote, or do a quote first and convert that to a requisition. By coming in here, the most important part is that reply date, and really the only thing you have to fill out at first. Then you want to put your line items on here as to what you want pricing on and how many. You can attach anything, and then we're going to choose the vendors. Now, you'll choose the vendors from your vendor list that we would import, or you can add them. And then any requisition instructions. And then just review that so you know this is what you're asking for. And then you'll save that and send it out to the vendors. When the vendors receive that and open it, it's going to bring them into this vendor page. Now, this is all they have access to, nothing else. It'll automatically fill out the RFQ number and which vendor is coming in. And then they have the ability to start putting in their unit prices on each line. They can also put comments and notes in, or maybe attach a bid and then save it. As soon as that's saved, you will be notified that a vendor put in a bid, and you can always review vendor bids either by pulling it up by vendor here or just doing a quick search. System always keeps all your bids. Now, if you did the quoting first and then you want to flip it over to requisition, you're simply going to come into requisitions and do a rec from quote. Choose which line and vendor item, and then create the requisition. So this brings us back to that first screen. Again, filling out any of your information that you want here, any attachments, and then save it and route it on for approval. Now, built into the system underneath all of these are reports. So you have reports at requisitions, purchasing, all different reports, receiving. So you have the ability to run reports basically on any information within the system itself. With as far as setup, our clients, when they come on board, are given an engineer that will actually configure the entire site, put in all the information, vendors, GL codes, users, user roles. And then after that, everyone will be trained. All the recording sessions are recorded, but also built in this system here are help docs, training library, help videos, everything to help you out. Now, when you go live, You are turned over to a support team for no additional charge, who you can call, as well as contact support right in here. So if you feel that this system might be best suited for you, definitely give us a call. And like I said, it's a great product where you pick and choose your workflows as to which modules you want. Thank you.